Alright. I have no idea where the stream stopped. But, yeah, they disconnected the internet. So that's unfortunate. But, you know, we're back, at least. Hopefully they don't turn it off again. But, you know, we'll see. So, yeah, we're still going to continue since we're back. But, let me just figure out where we left off, because, yeah. That's unfortunate. Login? What? Okay. No, that was unfortunate, but... Alright. 4 hours, 6 minutes, 34 seconds. Welcome to the chat room. Are we back in the chat room? Let me refresh the page. I guess I'll refresh chat as well. As well as Moobot. And refresh Streamlabs as well. As well as Twitch's creator dashboard. Is there a new update? Let's see. Moderation panels and stream manager layout. Okay, let's see. That's cool. Let's do a Beats TV FFC. So let's see. Where do we leave off? Rattle crash. Okay. So that's where we left off. Okay. I think we have to reload the save. Shit, that means we have to skip the whole conversation with Takano and EDA. Right. Okay. Which is fine, it's just, yeah. Gotta get back. I think we're good. It's great. No warning. Just, let's just mess with the circuit breaker. Okay. Let's skip. So we skip this. Side backstory sad. But what makes her suspicious that she wants to move up the or maybe it's always been like the way. No, I have a feeling it's like it's because she's suspicious. Oh shit. Okay. Alright, so after the rattle crash, right? Okay. Skip this. Okay. Now we're caught up. Rail crash. I heard a noise which sounded like mini buckets crashing down. It's a good thing I have the laptop so I can, or the Chromebook, so I can see that it crashed. But it's probably a noise from one of Satoko-chan's traps. According to her trap map, anyone going near the wet fire-tapping shack will set off a trap that makes a loud noise. That must have been it just now. I scouted around the shack last night before the girls left. The shack is very secluded and is located in a blind spot where nobody is likely to go. So this noise means something important. It means they've started their observation of Rika-chan. Can't let them notice the girls aren't home. They'll definitely call and come by to confirm that they're here. So I have to make sure that they think the girls are sick in bed, and that they don't hear the phone or the doorbell. Curtains are closed, so they can't see what's inside of the house. But to be certain, their beds are stuffed to make it look like they're sleeping. However, I have to be even more careful from now on. I can't let them notice that I'm staying here. For that matter, I have to make sure I can act when something happens. Oof. Saka. Also, hold on, let me move the microphone real quick. Which is an unfortunate time because of the phone call that's going on right now. Okay, we're good. The phone rang suddenly, just as I expected. They're calling to see if anyone's home. They're already aware that they didn't go to school, so they're probably assuming that they're home, sick in bed. I'm sure they want proof of that. The phone rang for a long time, which convinced me that it was indeed a call from the mountain dogs. There was no answer on the phone, then the next step would be to come by the house. They'll pretend to be a mailman or a neighbor and knock on the door. They don't even need to answer it. If the girls are too sick to answer the phone, then they won't notice a knock on the door either. The increased hassle means a higher risk of discovery, but on the other hand, it also proves our enemy is closing in on us. It was actually better for me, since I could measure the severity of the situation. Besides, EDA is our ally, and he already knows Rika-chan is somewhere else. He's supposed to tell him that he came by because he heard Rika-chan and Toka-chan miss school. That the two of them were in bed and should be left alone for a while. He's supposed to say that. They won't doubt EDA. They will believe him. You could call this an advanced level of mutual deceit. They believe that they're deceiving EDA, but in reality, EDA is deceiving them. However, they're professionals, and we're a bunch of amateurs. Well, not me at least. Actually, maybe I'm not an exception. I don't know what they've got until I come face to face with them. Oh shit, so that means a rematch? Okanogi versus Akasaka? Our conditions aren't even. We're leading by a tiny bit because we made the first move. Once that's gone, we don't stand a chance. I promised Rika-chan that I trust her unconditionally. So even without proof, I'm ready to fight. But I can't beat this conspiracy by myself. And to gain help from the others, Tomitake has to find proof. Tomitake is in charge of our first attack. That means he's in the most danger too. It's understandable that Rika-chan kept warning him to be very careful. He should have started his investigation as early as last night. That's the reason why they've begun observing Rika-chan. I can only pray for his safety and the success of the investigation. I heard a voice. EDA had arrived. It's Toka-chan. Rika-chan, I'm here to give you an examination. I heard footsteps coming up the stairs, and a quiet knock. I'm alone. Don't worry. You have to keep it down. This house is already under observation. I let EDA in and closed the door quickly. How are you? Must be getting hot in here, since you can't open the windows, huh? Brought something for you. He handed me a plastic bag, containing ice cream, cans of juice, some snacks, and even beer. Well, this obviously isn't for Rika-chan. He was being a little careless, but I am grateful. So how is everything? I heard a noise from the wiretapping shack earlier, and the phone rang for a long time shortly afterwards. I'm sure they found out that the girls missed school today and called to check. Has anybody asked you to come check on Rika-chan? Yes. Takano-san told me to go check since they missed school and haven't come by the clinic. I knew it. Do you think she's suspicious about their absence? No. I think it has something to do with Tomitake-san starting his investigation. Even if it doesn't, this may give him a chance to find out something. Either way, it's already begun, hasn't it? Yes, more than likely. I don't know if our enemies are Takano and the Mountain Dogs, or somebody else. Either way, that somebody has started to take action. Can't help but think of the series of mysterious deaths. The first 2 years were just coincidences. But starting with the third, I think Takano-san became intrigued, started expecting something to happen on the night of Watanagashi. Watanagashi is the day after tomorrow. It'd be the perfect opportunity for them to do something. She's aiming for Rika-chan on the 5th year running. This Takano is a frightening woman. What Rika-chan said about Takano-san, I think it's all true. I just found out just today, but she was adopted by Dr. Takano, the one who discovered Hinamizawa syndrome. The same pronunciation, huh? I see. To her, continuing to research the syndrome was like a promise she made to her beloved grandfather. But as the project will be terminated, it's almost like they're splitting on his they're spitting on his grave. That's exactly what Rika-chan said, isn't it? Yes. Also, Takano-san said something else. She compared a dying patient in a coma to the project that's going to end in 3 years. She says that family members have the right to turn off the switch of the life support machine. If the project is being terminated anyway, Mia Takano, who considers herself a family member of the late Dr. Takano, should be the one to terminate it. Yes, I think that's what she meant. We're gathering the circumstantial evidence we need. Takano is in fact our enemy. EDA had been reluctant to accept it yesterday, but now he believes what Rika-chan said is true. We need Tomitake-san to find some proof that shows Takano-san is planning something. Then we can call in a subjugation squad to arrest all those involved. Takano has the mountain dogs working for her. The squad can down even them? Yes. I don't know anything about them, but there's another unit called the Bloodhounds. They're a combat unit, deployed in the case of a true emergency. The mountain dogs are more of an intelligence unit for covert operations, so they'll likely be far outmatched. If this subjugation squad was organized to counter the off chance of rebellion by the Secret Research Institute, then they must be quite powerful. So you're saying our conditions for victory are summoning these bloodhounds into Hinamizawa? That would be correct. However, my one concern is that the emergency manual contains passages authorizing the massacre of the village to preserve secrecy. Still worried that even if the bloodhounds are brought in, they'll destroy all evidence, including the village itself, which wouldn't be any different. No, they wouldn't. If the enemy's intent is to trigger the execution of the emergency manual, that doesn't make sense. If this conspiracy is caused by faction infighting, then EDA Institute's clients will want to resolve the conflict quietly. They're sure to raid the enemies and settle everything while the villagers are still confused as to what's going on. I know this because I've done similar jobs myself. They'll pass through like a gale and complete their operation swiftly. And a unit capable of pulling that off against the mountain dogs must be very powerful. We'll just have to wait until we hear from Tomitake-san. Yes. This will be a battle of endurance, but once it lights up, it'll become a blitzkrieg. This will be a hard battle with rapid shifts in pace. It's reassuring to us that you're in the enemy's midst, but at the same time, you're in a very vulnerable position. Please, don't let your guard down. The moment we decided to be Rika-chan's allies, we became their enemies. I understand. The phone at this house is, of course, being wiretapped, so EDA has to come over to communicate with me. But that won't work in an emergency. Telephone is still better in that case. For those instances, I put together a memo for EDA. There's a method for communicating over a phone that's been bugged. It's something I came up with out of necessity once. What is this? A method for calling me in case of emergency. Please make sure the enemy doesn't get a hold of it. If you're in danger, swallow it. The phone's being tapped, so how can we make a call? If you pick up the phone, even if you don't say anything, they might get suspicious. We can communicate even without me picking up the phone. There's a little trick to it, but we can at least send across what's important. And you're the only one who can do it, since you'll be the first person who notices the enemy's movements. Alright. Then how do I do it? It's in the memo. Let me explain briefly. We'll use the ringtone. When you make a call, normally you won't let the phone ring over a minute. We'll use that to communicate. If the phone rings for a minute, that means it's dangerous. Leave. If the phone rings for a minute and a half, that means it's an emergency. Head to the Sonzaki residence. The difference is in those 30 seconds. You can look at the memo for other messages you can send. But please memorize these two at least. My life depends on it. The message that makes me know my life is in danger is the shorter call. But if it's too short, I'll get it confused with regular phone calls. That's why to signal me, you're supposed to hang up the phone within 3 seconds first, then place the emergency call. Oh, okay. The reason why I use such a large difference of time is to make sure there's no misunderstanding. The tones the caller hears and the rings the receiver sends out are a little different. I don't want that little difference to change the message, which is why they had to be 30 seconds apart. A short ring first, and 1 minute means run. A minute and a half means to head to where Rika-chan is. Okay, I got it. It's a little troublesome, I know, but this is just for emergencies. Please remember it. Yes, I understand. When danger strikes, I'll handle communications. Also, one more signal I want you to remember. It's not a very good code, but please don't forget it just the same. For this one, you don't need to do one short ring. You just need to let the phone ring for over 3 minutes. It's probably best to just place the call and leave it. What does that mean? Contact in danger. Further contact impossible. Impossible? So that's to tell you that I'm in danger then. Yes. In case of an emergency, call this house, leave the phone off the hook, and hide somewhere safe. Even so, it's very hard to anticipate when you yourself will be in danger. You'll lose your chance to call while you're thinking, I'm still fine, or I'm probably fine. If you sense something odd, that's an emergency. Knowing the seriousness of the conspiracy, they won't hesitate to kill us. Please be very careful. I understand. But if that happens, what are you going to do? Depends on the situation, but I'll probably leave this house. If you are in danger, then Rika-chan is in danger too. I'll head to the Sonozaki residence and join Rika-chan. But this is only in the worst case scenario. I'm not sure if it will actually happen, so don't be nervous. Relax, okay? But also be very careful, right? That's right. Ide nodded deeply. It's almost time. Something is about to happen. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I have plenty of questions. Oh, is Streamlabs chatbot not working? Hold on. Oh, it did disconnect. Streamer disconnected. Okay. Hold on. Do I have to reconnect it from... Excuse me. From this area? Connect. Oh, okay. So I think now it's back. I'll just send a message. We have to close the chat bot and then bring it back up. I just realized, yeah, Moobot sent the message previously, right? So I was just wondering. Let's wait for chatbot to come back. I didn't realize I updated Moobot to have the list there as well. But I guess Streamlabs chatbot takes priority. So let's see. There we go. Okay, cool. Alright, we're all good. Minimize that. Discord, OBS, game. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I have plenty of questions. This could easily be one of those well-planned pranks. Where's Ash? What I heard is just that extraordinary. But right now, it's a bad idea to ask questions just out of curiosity. That'd be a waste of time. Mion has already explained everything about the events surrounding Rika-chan. Well, I have a few things to ask myself as the successor to the head of the Sonozaki family. Because all this has something to do with a series of mysterious deaths. But I won't go into that for now. All in all, it was a good idea to come to my house. We can survive a nuclear war here, in our basement. There's electricity and a telephone there too. Of course, we have plenty of food too. If the mountain dogs are really that tough, then this house is the only place in this village that's safe from them. I'm sorry to have involved all of you in this. Rika-chan apologized from the bottom of her heart. Rika-chan has been dealing with this strange disease, this Hinamizawa syndrome, as well as all these suspicious Tokyo people, all by herself until today. She's been trying not to get us involved, and that's why she dealt with them all by herself. We can all imagine what she must have been feeling, so none of us can even think of anything to say. So hold on. Did I... Oh. Because I closed the chat bot. Okay. It did another announcement. Oops. No. We're fine. Imagine all what she must have been feeling, so none of us can even think of anything to say. The silence went on for a while, but then Hanyu clapped Rika-chan in the back. Oh shit. Wait. What does she look like? I wonder. Just like... a little mad. Alright. Rika, you've been apologizing so much since yesterday. If you apologize one more time, you'll have to treat me with a cream puff every day. Oh, wow. Besides, we all feel bad, don't we? Am I wrong, Keiichi? Hanyu suddenly addressed me. I could tell from her eyes that she was expecting something from me. Right. My role is to act as the flint for the other club members. It's my job to burn strong and bright red to get everyone excited. What have I been doing? Just sitting around. Heh. That's right, Rika-chan. We'd never even thought all of this could be true, so we were just shocked for the moment. But we're all thinking that things are getting interesting, right guys? Stoko, this right here is the real deal. You've got some good traps lying in wait, don't you? I know you've been hiding amazing ones for special occasions like these. This is a perfect chance to try them out, don't you think? Ho 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 ho, you should be grateful for my presence. I don't know who they are, but if it's alright to get serious, then I won't hesitate to launch the countless miraculous traps I refrain from using on our club members. That's right. The traps come with Michan's seal of approval. They can chase away even a real army. Well, Stoko aside, you're pretty merciless yourself, Rena. You're usually so easygoing, but I know your true power. Yeah, when you get serious, you might be the most powerful of us all. You sure are something. I don't even think I could defeat you. Oh, stop. Your explosive impact is incredible too, Keiichi-kun. Your power can defeat a fate that I'd have no chance against. If Keiichi is a furious red flame, then Renaissance is a quiet blue one. Hey, that's a good one. The Burning Red Ranger, Keiichi Mibara. The Burning Blue Ranger, Rena Ryugu. This is our chance to show the world what we've got. We're a powerful team with a powerful leader. Hehe, right, Mia? We're already powerful individually. And when together, we're invincible. When we're together, I guess. That's our club, right guys? Hehehe. You know, kept quiet thinking it might be imprudent, but actually I've been thinking. This is getting super interesting. I appreciate this, Rika-chan. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Hehehe. How dare they even think of stepping into Naozawa without saying hello to us. I'll make sure to teach them some manners. It had only been 5 minutes since Rika-chan apologized to everyone and brought the mood down, yet her morale was already at its peak again. We're up against such an absurd conspiracy, but if we're together, I think we can defeat it. It's the best feeling ever. Hanyu is the one who started all of this. She's quite the promising newcomer. She knew exactly whom among us to get motivated first. No, moreover, while even our senior members were hesitant about taking on such a huge opponent somewhere in their hearts, she alone remained unflinching and raised our spirits. She's likely to grow even more formidable in the future. So hold on, I think I got a text. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for believing me. Of course we believe you. I told you that already. If we didn't, we wouldn't be your friends. There's no need to thank us, Rika. Yeah, she's right. Listen to Hanyu. You've got great spirit. I like you. Ow, 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 ow. I rubbed Hanyu's head. She laughed as if I was tickling her. Okay then, let's huddle. We have to get things organized. First, Rika-chan and Satoko are supposed to be absent from school because they're sick, but in reality, they're hiding here. This is just a preventative measure. Nobody would even guess they're hiding here, thanks to a certain Akasaka. How nice of him. He came because of the promise he made 5 years ago. It's kinda cool. I'm a little jealous. He isn't my type, but I'm a little jealous too. Me, it's not like that though. He works for the public safety at the police headquarters in Tokyo. He belongs to a secret unit, right? It sure sounds reliable. Being a part of a secret unit makes it sound even better too. Akasaka is very strong. He's definitely reliable. But Akasaka-san's role is more of a protective one in case of an emergency. Tomitaka-san has the more important job of finding out things about our enemy. He's our true attacker. Plus, he's the only one who can call in the bloodhounds to take out our enemies. In other words, Tomitaka-san is our key to victory. It's a bit unsettling to think that so much is riding in the hands of some dumb cameraman. Everyone teased her by saying they were going to tell Tomitaka-san. She called him that. It's not that I don't expect them to succeed. Jesus. What do they look like? Okay. Expect them to succeed, but I think we should come up with another tactic just in case. But Hanyu, what else can we do other than count on Tomitake? No, Hanyu's right. This is the only one where we had the text jump, right? I think so. This is weird. No, Hanyu's right. Tomitaka-san is a key factor from the enemy's point of view too. If they find out he's investigating them, they might even have him killed. This is enemy territory for him too, after all. I think we should come up with something else, instead of just depending on Tomitaka-san. Very true. It's hard to score with just one trap. We usually set many traps to deal with many different possibilities. That's basic trap tactics, you know? That's true. There's no need to limit ourselves to just one angle of attack. We should look into other methods besides what Tomitaka-san is doing. We don't know anything about Tokyo, do we? Well, if one of Tomitaka-san's important jobs is to summon the bloodhounds, how can they teach us how to call them? Then even if Tomitaka-san is taken out by the enemy, we can still meet our victory conditions. Yeah, that sounds about right. Tomitaka-san is really important. At the same time, he's our Achilles heel. Let's talk to him and make him tell us how to contact the bloodhounds. Problem is, he's holed up somewhere in the city, and there's no way for us to get a hold of him. I think that's a great idea, though. Next time we get a chance to talk to Tomitake, let's ask him. So that's the first plan. Is there anything else? Before we knew it, Hanyu was making sure we moved along with our proceedings. Reno noticed that too, giving a pleasant smile to the girl trying to be a part of our group. This one is just insurance, in case something happens to Tomitaka-san. Let's think of a different angle of attack. What about something that would help his investigation? Oh, how intriguing. We'll launch some kind of trap, grab him by a tail, and thus proof they can't talk their way out of in their faces. My, what a perfect trap situation. If I'm the one they want, why don't you use me as a decoy? It's dangerous, but Takano and the others need me, so they'll definitely fall for it. That really is dangerous, but that would prove Takano-san is after Rika-chan. Have them see her and make them chase her. That could lead to something interesting. Hehehe. That's where Satoko's hills come in. Ow, whoa, whoa. Once they go up there, they'll be in big trouble. You said it. Hehehe. Boy, will that be a sight to see. This is gonna be great. That should be the final method we use, though. Once we're barricaded in the hills, the situation will change quite a bit. This should be our last resort. She's right. The traps in the hills are great as a defense measure, but that's all they can do. They can't attack the enemy for us. The barricade on the hill is our last resort, huh? The very final resort. But when the enemy attacks this location, we have no other choice but to leave. By the way, we have an underground tunnel leading out that's connected to a well in the back. Wow, your house is amazing, Neon. Oh shit, this is really getting crazy. The enemy is a mystery organization. You have a secret operation, a secret base, and now a secret underground tunnel? Wow! This is just the sort of thing that gets a guy excited. Oh well, I'm not a guy, but I'm excited. Okay, now we have 2 ideas. We'll come up with more. Can anyone think of anything else? Let's see. We want at least one more. That last one is a rather defensive tactic too. Isn't there something more aggressive that's perfect for our club? You know, some way to hit them real good? An awesome blow that'll set back their conspiracy? Can we pull off something like that? Yeah, sure we can. You're not as powerless as you think, Riku-chan. It's not like we don't have cards to play. You're the ultimate objective, and you're with us. That's one crucial card on our side. Not just in the sense of using you as bait. That's true. It's a huge disadvantage for them that we have the Queen Carrier. I mean, what's their goal? Kill Riku-chan, trigger this emergency manual to eliminate the whole village, and use that chaos in their internal faction wars, right? Yeah. To them, Rika is like the fuse on a stick of dynamite. They want to set that dynamite off, cause chaos, and use that to gain something for themselves. So if we keep it from exploding, we win. That's gonna be pretty tough. You're right. You have to continue defending her, but all they have to do is kill Riku-chan in any way. It's like a soccer game with the goal on only one side. To denounce this unfair game for what it is and call in the Bloodhounds is the point of the Toмотake operation, right? Isn't there a goal for us though? Where we defeat their conspiracy? There must be something. Sometimes it works to think from the opposite point of view. Oh? Oh-ho! There is one. Mion started to grin in a weird way. Here she goes. The winds are blowing stronger on her side, and she's getting to better than top form. Mion is pretty smart. She's great at analyzing situations. That's why, when Riku-chan first told her everything, she immediately decided that there was no way for us to win and became depressed. However, while Mion's easily crushed, she's also able to exhibit incredible power when the wind's on her side. We created that tailwind, and now her cell is receiving the push it needed. Let me confirm this one more time, Riku-chan. That emergency manual was designed to prevent all the villagers from going insane within 48 hours of your death, right? Yes, that's it. That's its purpose. Ow? Rika has never died before, so how did they know something like that will happen within 48 hours? She's right. Yeah, that's really strange. How can they say for sure that all the villagers will go crazy within 48 hours? Well, according to Takano, something similar apparently happened in another country. That's where they got the 48 hours from. Have no idea though. Actually, Ide said he doesn't understand it either. Ah, could it be? I see. Ho 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 ho. I know their weak point. Ah, I see it too. Yeah, that's right. This is their blind spot. Eh? What are you two talking about? I don't get it. I don't get it either. Hey, Rena and Riku-chan, don't you understand? Why don't we put the last person to figure it out through a punishment, huh? How about you, Hanyu? Haven't you figured it out yet? Yes, I have. That's why Rika is important to Takano. Oh well, that's a hint for you two. Ho ho ho! Here's a hint from me as well. The enemy's intention is to cause a disaster in Hinamizawa. They intend to do so by using this emergency manual. In other words, this manual is, in fact, the enemy's Achilles heel. Me, I don't get it. Ow. Rika, if you apologize for everything you've done to me, I'll tell you. No way. Stop that ow-owing. I want to concentrate. What? Haven't you figured it out yet, Rena? Listen. Our attack depends on Tomitaki-san, and that's our Achilles heel. On the other hand, the enemy's attack depends on the emergency manual. So if we destroy the foundation of the emergency manual, you see? We just have to make the emergency manual lose its function. Ow, what is the meaning of the emergency manual? It's supposed to hide the existence of the syndrome by making it look like a disaster. So that's why they have to wipe out the entire village within 48 hours. That's what the enemy intends to do, at least. So you're saying, we just have to stop them from executing the manual within 48 hours? But those 48 hours don't start until I'm killed, so... So I need to outrun them for those 48 hours? Me. Hey, you two are already saying the answer. You good? Let's say the answer out loud. Everyone ready? Here we go! Rika-chan has to die 48 hours prior. We all said it in unison. Boy, if we're good at this. We never mess it up. I know. I got it. I got it too. Rena and Rika-chan clapped their hands together. They finally figured it out. Why did it take so long for us to come up with this? Ow. We finally got it. We should have come up with this on the first try. We've been speaking only in the defensive terms, so I thought you might never think of this idea. Ow. Oh? Listen to you. I love you even more, Hanyu. In recognition of your achievements, I'll award you a club special order, cross medal later. Anyway, let's talk about the operation. Their goal is to execute the emergency manual. Hidden in that goal is actually a huge weak point. The foundation of the manual is the notion that the villagers will go crazy within 48 hours of the queen character's death. In other words, if nothing happens in the 48 hours after Rika-chan's death, then the foundation of this emergency manual collapses. The final section of Love's War, Season 2, Episode 7 felt like a fever dream and I loved it. It's so good, right? How's it going, Mr. Wu? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. It was so good. Still need something that was just as good as Season 1, Episode 3's dance. The Chica dance. Because that was, excellent at the time when it came out. That's it, to say the least. Nobody really wants to do such a terrifying thing. But if they don't execute the manual, the villagers might go mad and spread to the surrounding communities. They're hesitant to execute it, but they want to keep the damage to a minimum. What if they find Rika-chan's body 48 hours after her death? The major premise that the villagers would lose their minds within 48 hours of the queen carrier's death will collapse. Fortunately, Rika is hiding here, so it's possible for us to lie about her death. The last time Rika-chan was seen was yesterday at school. It'll be 48 hours after that, in the early morning of the day after tomorrow. It'll be perfect if her body is found around that time. It's going good, just chilling, been jamming out to the Persona 5 Scramble opening. Have I heard that? I don't think I have. That hasn't come out yet, right? I know it came out in Japan, but I don't think it's come out in the US yet. I do want to play it. Maybe it has. No, I would have seen stuff about it, right? I see. It's possible to fake Rika-chan's death with the help of that, Oishi-san. Indeed. We'll ask Oishi-san to send out an announcement that Rika's body has been found, and that it has been has been at least 48 hours since her death. It hasn't, gotcha. Well, it might create some issues if he announces it publicly, so we can just let the Idia Institute know. Coach is on our side, so it should be possible to deceive them. that is. Hee hee. What an idea. Once the emergency manual loses its credibility, such a horrible operation will never be approved. In other words, their weak points are the emergency manual and Riku-chan. Oishi hasn't agreed to help us yet, but I know he will. Oh. Ho 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 ho! This will be such an amusing trap. I can just picture Takano-san running around in a panic. Takano believes Satoko and I are sick in bed with a cold, but as she hasn't actually seen us, she's just assuming it's true. But as it turns out, we were somewhere else, and suddenly my body shows up, having been dead for over 48 hours. Ha 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 ha! This is gonna be super thrilling! The masterminds will have to accept the failure of the emergency manual and withdraw. That's when the hunters become the hunted. By that time, Tomitake-san will have found out something about the enemy, and he'll call in the Bloodhounds to defeat them. That's our goal. Alright. I can smell our victory from here. Man, how perfect is this? This is all gonna work out, I'm sure of it. We all encouraged each other with a hip, hip, hooray. This is definitely getting really, really interesting. Still, what's key is that the claim of Riku-chan being dead for 48 hours is believable. For that, we'll need Oishi-san's help. Anyway, I'm just dropping by for now. Gonna play some Terra. And remember, Shoujo Ishigami scares me. Does he? But he's such a Chad. Oh man. It's a good bit. It was a good bit. Going to the aquarium. Oh man. Yeah, have a good one, Mr. O. And right as we thought about asking him, he arrived at the Sonozaki residence. Oishi-san knows that Riku-chan is hiding here. He also knows that some members of the Mountain Dogs have infiltrated the police station. They've even wiretapped Riku-chan's home phone, so the safest way to contact her, he figured, is in person. I saw Dr. Irie earlier. He told me to tell you that Akasaka-san is doing just fine. He's grown a lot in the past 5 years. He'll hold down the fort. Oishi-san loosened his tie while drinking his barley tea. I bet I never thought he'd end up drinking a glass of barley tea at the home of his old enemy, the Sonozaki family. So, Oishi, what do you think of our 48-hour operation? I think it's a pretty good idea. It'll shake them up quite a bit. In their panic, they'll make mistakes for sure. That'll give Tomitake-san the chance to get a drop on them. No, it's really a great strategy. They say 2 heads are better than 1. But with all your young minds together, you've come up with a fantastic idea. Oishi-san laughed in admiration, and assured us that the operation would definitely make an impact. However, he hesitated a little too. This is pretty sink or swim, you know? Whether we win or lose, I'll have to take responsibility. I'll do my best to pull out the splinters, but if I don't do a good job of it, I'll end up in pretty deep. I have to resign myself to that. Our 48-hour operation, Oishi-san ends up bearing most of the responsibility. And the police are a strict organization. There's no guarantee they won't investigate. Oishi-san is planning to retire this year. He needs his pension in order to pay off his mortgage. He's at a very delicate point in his life. While this is a big deal for Riku-chan, it's a lot to ask of Oishi too. He has to risk throwing away everything for our sakes. Shit. This operation is a great idea, believe me. But I just can't. Oishi, if it's too much, you don't have to accept the part. We don't want to win by using you as a sacrifice. Nobody knew what to say to him, but Hanyu broke the silence. She's full of energy, ow-owing during our club, but at times like this, she also has the power to heal the hearts of those who are hesitating and growing weak. It's like being enveloped in a mysterious embrace. If her appearance matched her level of maturity, Hanyu would probably look like a mother. Besides, we're members of the most powerful club in the world. Even if 48-hour operation can't work, we're sure to come up with another idea straight away. Right, Mion? Yeah, that's right. Oishi, you can say no, okay? We shouldn't have gotten all excited over this, without even considering your situation. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, Uishi-san. Rena whispered to me while watching them talk. Hanyu-chan is good at this. Who could say no when a cute little girl says stuff like that to them? Eh? What? What do you mean? Is that what Hanyu's trying to do? Neat. She's even more sly than I am. As Uishi-san moaned and groaned, Hanyu looked over and grinned, wickedly, at us. I take it back. This girl, she really is sly. Hanyu is more dangerous than I thought. Next time we do a club activity, I'll really have to watch out. Please let me sleep on it. There's someone at the station I really trust, so I think I'll discuss it with him. Don't worry, he wouldn't rat me out. If I agree to do this, I can't make any mistakes. So before I do, please let me think over the chance of success. Uishi-san never makes promises unless he's sure he can keep them. That's why he speaks cautiously, but considering his position, it was certainly a decision that required courage. Don't worry, Uishi. Even if you lose your pension, Mion will take care of it. Won't you? Well. Meep. If he is going to help us, we have to do that. We have to do that for Oishi. Meep. Huh? Well, you know, despite how I look, my family is pretty rich. I got 2 sly foxes. The club's gonna be the epitome of a free-for-all in the future. The meeting ends with that. We'll find out if we can go ahead with the 40-hour operation or not by tomorrow, depending on Uishi-san's answer. We haven't heard from Tomitaka-san yet, but I'm sure he started his investigation on Takano-san. The coach and Akasaka-san have to wait patiently, each surrounded by the enemy. They're both in very dangerous positions, so I'll just have to pray for their safety. And then, there's Takano-san. Still having a hard time believing she's involved in such a vast conspiracy. If someone told me the whole thing was a lie, I might even believe them. That's why I want Tomitaka-san to investigate. She's mysterious and a bit cold, but she can be fun to be around too. Also, I've always thought of her as one of the villagers. It hurts more than a little to suspect one of your own. I can understand what Tomitaka-san is going through. This doesn't have to be an investigation to confirm her guilt. Instead, I want him to prove that she is not guilty. It's too painful for people to doubt one another. Hello? Sorry for making you call me so often, First Lieutenant Tomitaka. That's okay. Anyway, did you find out anything? Background investigation usually takes a few months. Can't be rushed within a day or two. But Tomitaka sensed that something huge had started to make its move after what Rika and the others told him. And it was definitely getting closer. But once it was close enough to see, it would be too late. That was why he was checking on their progress so frequently. We're still investigating Major Takano as we speak. When she took a position in the Alphabet Project, her background was already investigated by a different department, so we've requested those documents to be handed over. The entire team is investigating what she's been doing since the time she joined the project. Please give us a little longer. I understand. However, the situation is urgent, so please work as quickly as you can. Yes, of course. By the way, we had an emergency order to investigate the Idiot Institute today, unrelated to your request. It's our top priority now. The Chief of Staff requested it. Chief of Staff? And it isn't related to my request? Yes. Well, it's supposed to be a separate matter, but from what I can see, I think this is a powerful boost from the top towards your investigation. The Chief of Staff is helping out? What does this mean? The only thing I can assume is that the top members of the JGSDF have realized the danger of the conspiracy surrounding the EDA Institute. Like Rika-chan said, if this conspiracy's intent is to execute the emergency manual, then the opposing camp will try to stop that from happening. My request for an investigation is the first step in putting a stop to their plans. So if the masterminds were influencing the Chief of Staff, he'd probably try to shut my investigation down. But he's supporting it instead, which probably means that the Chief of Staff isn't my enemy. In fact, he might belong to the opposing camp. Now, it's hard to say if he belongs to them or not. Might just be under order from the ones pulling the strings for the opposing camp. If that's true, then the enemy has already noticed something. It's possible that they'll start exerting pressure soon enough. So how much can I find out before that happens? I don't know much about the top brass. Still, for the Chief of Staff to get involved. Putting aside if Takano-san is guilty or not, I'm certain that something extremely big is starting to happen around the 8 Institute. We're making progress on investigating the Institute. We haven't analyzed the data yet, but some of the financial records are suspicious. We don't know if it's just a simple paperwork mistake or if someone is actually trying to juggle funding, but I have an expert looking into it. What do you mean by suspicious? Well, as you know, there's an account for the funds supplied to the 8 Institute, but the numbers don't match up. It's possible that there's inflows or outflows in money that haven't been recorded. Besides that, there are questionable dates on some receipts. We're suspecting forgery. Funds are usually supplied annually. For example, if a budget of 1 million yen is approved, 1 million is applied in April, the facility manages those funds so they can keep things running for 1 year. So depending on how they use the money, it's possible to have some left over at the end of the year. If they only use 900,000 yen, they'll have 100,000 left. Then for the following year, they'll be told that as they only needed 900,000 yen, 900,000 should be enough. Furthermore, there should be 100,000 yen left over, so they should only need 800,000 the following year. Therefore, they then only get 800,000 yen when April comes around, which is 200,000 yen less than the previous year. As some of you have already noticed, the more leftover money you have, the fewer funds you receive next year. Therefore, it's smart to use up your entire budget. Some people try to get by until the end of the year. And if there's 100,000 yen left, they try to make it look like as though they used up the money, even when it's in fact in a safe somewhere. They report that they've used exactly 1 million yen, and they get another million for the following year. Yet there's still 100,000 yen sitting in the safe. This 100,000 yen is called a pooled fund, or a slush fund. If they keep running with only 900,000 yen per year, then 100,000 will be added to the slush fund in the safe annually. And only a handful of people will know about that money. This is how public funds get embezzled, or turned into private money. As we previously mentioned, the Alphabet Project is using this exact trick, and certain masterminds are pulling in huge amounts of public funding. To avoid this kind of situation, there is an audit of accounts performed every year, and oversight to ensure no one's fattening their pockets or creating slush funds. By the way, it's been said that the reason why civil engineering projects tend to start up at the end of the year is so they won't have that 100,000 yen left, but that's not relevant right now. The point is that they have to work hard to get the funds they want. Well, that's an example of having some money left over, which is certainly not bad. However, it can also be possible that there isn't enough money. After all, they're only granted 1 year's worth of funds, so they can't delve into a savings account like we do in our lives. That excess money just doesn't exist. Therefore, an estimate report should never show more expenditure than revenue. If that happens, that means there's some extra money other than what was supplied. That's how slush funds are discovered. Tomitake was told that it was still under investigation, but the Idiot Institute's suspicious financial records could be either case. The former would be fine. It's quite common, after all. But if it was the latter, there could be something quite nasty lying beneath the surface. In other words, it was quite possible that funding was coming into the Idiot Institute from someone other than the formal sponsors. To be more exact, there was a chance someone was interfering with the Idiot Institute by supplying funds. Tomitake was having his men look into the possibility of Takano and the Mountain Dogs rebelling against Tokyo. While it's certainly possible for Takano to do so because of her personal investment in their research project, it was hard to believe that the Mountain Dogs could betray their employers out of sympathy. For the dogs to take part in Takano's conspiracy, a huge amount of money would have to be involved. And the discrepancy that Tomitake's men had identified could be a sign of such. Ah, hello? Sorry, I just received a report. You know Koizumi-sensei, don't you? The head of the old Koizumi faction. He passed away recently, which led to the faction breaking up. Do you know anything about a personal relationship between him and Major Takano? Yes, I've heard about that. But did you know that Koizumi-sensei and the late Dr. Takano had a personal relationship? Eh? No, I see. Now I know why Koizumi-sensei doted over Major Takano. This is very interesting. As a matter of fact, after Koizumi-sensei's death, his private accounts were liquidated. They found some withdrawals made by Koizumi-sensei himself instead of the attorney who took care of his finances. It happened about half a year before the Ide Institute's establishment was approved by the Alphabet Project. Didn't Koizumi-sensei use the money to make necessary arrangements beforehand in order to establish the institute? No, his attorney took care of the money for that. So the withdrawal wasn't made for that purpose. Must have been a very personal expenditure, considering that he bypassed his trusted attorney. So could that involve the relationship between Koizumi-sensei and Takano-san? Does that mean Koizumi-sensei supplied funds to Major Takano personally? Yes. That's what we think, and we're trying to corroborate that as we speak. We think Koizumi-sensei gave money to Major Takano for purposes other than the necessary arrangements for establishing the institute. She's saying it's possible that Major Takano has a huge amount of cash at her disposal to help instigate a revolt. To establish the institute, Major Takano adjusted things with various organizations, but she did all that through legitimate means. So if she didn't use any of her personal supply for that, she should still have the whole amount at her disposal. I'm sorry, but what is that amount? 1 billion yen? Well, what? I'm very close to Takano-san, but I had no idea she was so rich. Actually, she's rather tight with her money. She never acted as if she had 1 billion yen just sitting around. But then, that money isn't just money to her. It's a form of support from her dear grandfather's friend. So she'd have to save it for when she needed it the most. If the new board of directors had even a little interest in her research, she would have used the money on them, but they simply laughed at her. So Takano-san gave up on bribing them. Instead, she decided to use it now, because her research project was going to be terminated anyway. With 1 billion yen, it might be possible to bribe the mountain dogs. If she has sponsors, it'll be even easier. Grandfather couldn't complete his life's work, but she's planning a magnificent conclusion for it. Shit. This can't be her true intentions. Someone has to be deceiving her. Takano-san, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't notice your sorrow, even though I've been right beside you. "48-hour operation. Takeout? Oh no. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot about the money." But, that makes sense. Paying out of pocket for this, event. What time is it? 5:04. I think that's only an hour. Yeah, that's only an hour. I think we should do the next chapter. But also food's being made. So chapter 9 is a bit over an hour. Oh, okay. It's a bit over an hour. Yeah, we can push it. Let's do chapter 9. Then we'll stop for chapter 10. Preparation for tomorrow's festival is moving right along at the Furude Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth group and some middle-aged men are unloading them. Heard Rika-chan is really sick. Hope she's okay. Heard she didn't go to school again today. Hope she gets better soon. Ah, Dr. Ide. How's Rika-chan doing? Well, she had a bad cold, but she's starting to get better. She still needs to take it easy, though. Just want to see them, and told them to stay in bed. I see. So Toko-chan is sick too, huh? Both of them staying home and sick together. Sure they can't help but play around. Ha ha ha. Considering they got sick at the same time, Rika-chan and Toko-chan are really close, huh? Ah, Kimiyoshi-san. Dr. Ide just told us that Rika-chan and Toko-chan are starting to get better. Oh, I see. That's good. By the way, about tomorrow's performance. You don't think she'll be able to do it, do you? She says she's going to anyway. If you asked her, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to oblige. But as a doctor, even if she didn't have a fever today, I'd better not let her do it. That's no good. Oryu-san, Rika-chan is getting better, but she still has to stay in bed. Well, then, we can't force her and then see her collapse during the ceremony. People will say it's the curse of Oryu-san. Well, the villagers are really worried. They say there might be a curse again this year. Besides, it's Satoko Hojo-chan and Rika-chan, you know? Some people are imagining some really horrible things. Nitwits! Rika-chan is the reincarnation of Oryu-sama. If she was cursed, the whole village would perish. Don't even suggest things like that. No, you're right, I'm sorry. Dr. Irie, can I go see them? Please, let them rest for a while. They're recovering and they're at an age where they'll want to play, okay? Someone visiting them would be too stimulating, and they're sure to get out of bed. Ha 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 ha, I see. I guess I shouldn't, eh? Doctor, please take care of them, alright? Not just Rika-chan, but Satoko-chan too. Really? That's surprising. Oryu-san always acts as if she doesn't even see Satoko-chan. But she just asked me to take care of Satoko-chan too. Sure, absolutely. I'll make both Rika-chan and Satoko-chan better. You can count on me. If something happens, people will say it's the curse of Oryu-sama. Hey, Dr. Irie, don't you think it's foolish to talk about things like curses when we're in the 1980s? When people have gone to the moon? Yes, I do. During the dam conflict, we used stories like that for our own needs. The dam conflict is over now. But as long as we keep talking about the curse, the dam conflict will never end. Are you saying that if Satoko-chan dies, people will say that it's the curse of the dam conflict? Dam conflict is over. If a village kid gets a cold, it's the elder's job to worry about her, that's all. Wow. I already know what Oryu-san wants to say. I want her to actually say it. But if I made her, she might get angry. This is more than enough. She talks about the dam conflict. She doesn't just mean the war they waged against the construction itself. She's also including how the Hojo family was ostracized after it was over. She's saying that the dam conflict is over, including everything that happened as a result of it. That's why she told me to take care of Satoko-chan. I'm sure Satoko-chan will appreciate your concern. Ha 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 ha. Like that little rascal will ever understand an old person's feelings. Oryu-san left, laughing. I wasn't the only one watching her leave. Kimiyoshi-san and some other elders did the same. They all understand what Oryu-san wanted to say. Damn conflict is over now. Satoko-chan is a healthy girl. If she's down with a fever, must be a terrible cold. Dr. Irie, please take care of them. Since we aren't allowed to visit them, please let both of them know how worried we all are. Sure, they'll be happy to hear that. I vowed to myself, Takano-san is more than likely planning something for tomorrow, taking advantage of people's belief in the curse. Can't let that happen. The curse of Oryu-sama will end before it can happen for a 5th time. Sure of that. Yoichi couldn't accomplish the 48-hour operation alone. He would need help from someone else. Yoichi called up both Kumagai and the old man from forensics, told them everything. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is a dangerous bridge we're crossing here. If I get a simple warning, that's okay, but if I get reprimanded, they'll probably take away my pension. Ha ha ha. Hey Yoichi. Here you always gather your colleagues at the mahjong parlor next door, and threaten them every time you have a dangerous mission. Same old thing, right? Yeah, Oishi-san. Why don't you say if you don't want to lose your pension, leave while I count to 10, with more oomph in your voice, like you usually do. Unless you say it that way, it just doesn't sound right. Well, this seriously is dangerous, Kuma-chan. Are you really prepared to lose your pension? Why don't you count to 10 then? Fine, I'll count. If you don't want to lose your retirement money, leave before I count to 10. 1, 2, 3... Okay, I got it, Kuma-chan. You're serious. But still, are you sure you're okay with it? Yes. I'm really psyched up from what I heard from Akasaka-san the other day. I became a policeman because I believe in justice. Someday, I want to be able to talk about the things I've been through, like Akasaka-san does. A dangerous mission? That sounds fantastic. Besides, your ideas I've never felt before. So if you think this operation will succeed, then I'm all for it. Ha ha ha. How nice it is to be young. You know, Akasaka-kun's become quite the inspiration for him. Keeps talking about how he wants to be involved in secret investigations now. Ha ha. Well, it's nice to be young, I guess. What about you? Ha! I'm in. Actually, unless I help you, this operation won't succeed. I've been neglecting my health all these years. Frankly, I don't think I have much longer to live. As a man, I want to do something grand before I die. My, you two sure are fearless. That's why you declare a Ricci even with 3-flip Dora. What are you saying, Oishi-san? As a man, I can't refuse. If you're going to cut something, cut it right in the middle. That's what you always say. It's not wrong. I get it. If your necks end up on the line, I'll be responsible. I'll have to make some preparations first. Want to start this early tomorrow morning, right? I have to check with both forensics and the autopsy department. Oishi, when all this is over, you have to treat me to something big, okay? Of course. Look forward to it. But please make sure to be careful who you talk to, alright? They told me there are some spies at the police station. Don't worry. I know who I can I know who I can trust. Count on me for that, at least. Alright, fire it up. My detective spirit is burning bright. It had taken Oishi all night to come to a decision, but those two had decided immediately. Couldn't help but question himself. Okay, I have some errands to run, so I'm gonna get going. Kuma-chan, could you please take the old man home? Thank you for coming here on your day off. Nah, don't worry about that. It's been a while since something got my blood boiling. In all the years of my life, this is the first big stage to really test my manhood. I'm not afraid. I'm gonna enjoy this. Thank you very much, old man. Kuma-chan, too. Oishi thanked them after seeing them off, although they couldn't hear. Oishi stopped by a flower shop. He bought a bouquet of balloon flowers. Usually the purple ones are the most popular, and Oishi was fond of that color too. But today he didn't buy purple flowers, but got unusual white balloon flowers instead. With the bouquet in hand, he headed to the cemetery across from the flower shop. The date was June 18th. The real anniversary would be tomorrow, but as Oishi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated it on the previous day instead. It was the day before the anniversary of the death of the old man. The one Oishi considered a best friend, a brother, and a father. Every year, I promise you that I'll find your right arm, but I still haven't had any luck. Yet. Oishi spoke to the grave. He laid the bouquet of white balloon flowers down on top of it. But I finally got the chance to get close to the truth. You know? It's kind of funny. As it turns out, the Sonozaki family has nothing to do with it. Kept promising you year after year that I'd bring Oryu here and have her grovel an apology. But I was so wrong this whole time. I don't know what to say. You'd probably smack me if you were here. Thought I knew the winning tiles. After countless safe discards, I got slammed with a bad hit. If I hadn't made that assumption and focused on filling my hand, then I might have been able to get a big one. Haven't made any progress at all. It's the same with Mahjong. I'm a fool for getting ideas into my head, and then not doubting them even a bit. Tahaha. Oishi already had a vague idea. The way Irie had phrased it, he could already guess. There was no dark secret behind the old man's dismemberment murder. The events that followed were separate incidents. That particular murder was an individual incident, and it had nothing to do with anything else. Since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Oishi needed someone to blame, and the mysterious Sonozaki family was the perfect target. The drama of revenge that Oishi believed in never existed. Thinking of doing something really dangerous. Considering the risk, there isn't much in terms of reward. If anything, I might find out the truth. But I feel like I can finally forgive myself. We should bow deeply to the grave. Then he heard footsteps behind him. Had to be someone else who knew the old man. That person can't come on the day of the Tanagashi every year either, so they come on the day before, just like Oishi does. They always bring blue hydrangeas. Purple balloon flowers, and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Oishi always picks white ones. Usually the hydrangeas are already there by the time he arrives. But as Oishi had his secret meeting with Kumagai earlier in the morning, he came straight to the graveyard afterward and arrived before this person did. Visiting a grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Oishi was curious about the other person who brings flowers every year, so he looked up. Oh shit. Well, well. Are you visiting someone's grave too? Oishi stated the obvious, but from one glance he could guess everything. Upon seeing the hydrangeas in her arms, it all made sense. Oh my. Aren't you supposed to be working? What are you doing here? Kane Sonozaki laughed as she handed a bouquet of hydrangeas to her daughter Shion. Shion, not knowing what to do, was caught between her mother and Oishi. Hey, how long are you going to stand there? Come on, move over. Oishi moved over as told and spoke. So you're the one leaving hydrangeas every year. Aren't they beautiful? They're from my backyard. Hydrangeas are beautiful in June. Your balloon flowers are fairly unusual. White ones? Huh. They're nice. Ah, Mr. Oishi, excuse me. Can I put the flowers down? Shion knelt down in front of the grave and got the flowers ready. She put the hydrangeas in the vase alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start. What a coincidence. They match very well. Makes a nice contrast with the white and the blue. I saw blue hydrangeas every year I came. Thought blue flowers wouldn't go well with purple ones. I see. Then we should get along just fine, huh? Yeah, I guess. Ha 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 ha. What's the matter? Anything unusual in the x-rays? You're being unusually quiet today, and it's disturbing. Oh, do you think that might be it? Since you've been good to us? I'll bring some hydrangeas to your grave too, don't worry. Oh, by the way, you still owe us at one of our shops, don't you? I'll bring a bill too. Nah ha ha ha. Oh boy, you two never run out of things to say, do you? Well, I don't plan on leaving this world quite yet. It won't be long until my retirement, but I'm still going strong. That's good then. As a citizen of Okonomiya, I'm glad to hear such reliable words. Ha 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 ha. Your conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little off about it. Can you tell me one thing? The Guardians and the old man, the site manager, they didn't get along, did they? So, why bring flowers for him? No, we didn't get along at all. We were mighty enemies. Right, Shion? Yeah, that old geezer was a bastard that pissed me off. I bit him, I elbowed his stomach, and I even scratched up his car with a 10-yen coin. Shion, the statute of limitations isn't up yet. Shion stuck out her tongue and hid behind her mother in embarrassment. So if you hated him that much, why do you come here? Well, the damn conflict is over. Although he was our enemy, we did many unpleasant things to him too. What, you don't get it? The war is over now. Even in a rugby game, once a game is over, no one is on opposing sides. Nothing more than that. Kane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Oishi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They hated each other, they spat at each other. How could they even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Akane said that it was normal. Their moral standards weren't matching up. Actually, you're the one I can't understand. I think the damn conflict has ended, yet in your head it's still going, isn't it? Phew. Oh no, it's over for me. Can't even imagine hearing all that noise anymore. You've got to be kidding me. Then what's wrong with the Sonozaki family visiting his gravesite? Come on, move over. Brought something for him too. Kane took out a small package from her bag and put it down in front of the grave. See that package every year. What's in it? This is ohagi, especially made by the virago. Drinkers usually don't like sweets, so she made them without sugar. Are you saying that Oryo-san made ohagi for the site manager's anniversary? She does it every year. You did just say that you see it every time you come here, didn't you? Uishi was stunned. Oryo was the biggest hardliner in the Onagafuchi Guardians, no question about that. Uishi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for his anniversary. Hey, don't give me that look. Let's not do this anymore, okay? Do what? Pretend that the Sonozaki family shouldn't visit the site manager's grave. It won't be long now until it's 1990. By then, even the Emperor might be dead. How much longer are you planning to drag out this war, which has already ended? Please. I don't even want to think about the damn conflict. There's nothing better than peace. The government was at fault. They should think about what they've done. But we are at fault too. That's why we have regrets. And when things are done, that's it. There's no point dragging them out. We need to wrap up the era of our forefathers, and young people need to create a new one. What happened was very unfortunate, and I regret that the old man had to die. If he was still alive, we could have shared a toast together and made up. But he's dead. So we can't reconcile. I think that's very sad. Well, that's what happens when someone dies. But you're still alive. That's right, I am. So are you. Maybe a day will come when we can get along, huh? Hahaha. Well, I don't know about that. Shion, why don't you give this to the priest? And then wait in the car, okay? Sure. Kane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Shion. Shion took the envelope, bowed to Uishi, then ran off. During the dam conflict, I thought she was such a feisty little girl. She sure has grown up. How long do you think it's been since then? She hit puberty and we even went bra shopping together. She isn't a little girl anymore. That's how long it's been. Yeah, many years have passed. Time is dense for young people, but diluted for old folks. The old ones are the ones who don't change. The young people keep growing. Before we know it, they pass us by. Then we simply withdraw ourselves and watch over them. See how it works? Yeah, I guess. Can't believe I'm getting a talk to from the Dark Princess of Shishibon, Akane Sonozaki. Hey, I can't believe you still remember that name. I'm a lady of Shishibon nowadays, you know? I'd appreciate it if you kept that name to yourself. Hehehe. Yeah, I guess. Since the dam conflict is over now, huh? That's right. It's all over. Two of them watched Shion and the priest exchange words in front of the main temple building. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly flittered around them. You're supposed to be at work, but how about around? Up for some fresh cold sake? Maybe not today. I have to drive, and so do you, right? Hehehe. It's too bad. Oh, maybe next time, eh? Yeah, next time. Something that had been sitting inside Uishi for a long time and started to dissipate. Something that had coagulated was melting away. I better get going. Your daughter is waiting too, right? Yeah, she is. Gone through a lot. Let's forget about it all. How about that? We'll have a party one of these days. We will. Kane turned around with a big smile on her face. But all of a sudden it changed into an impish grin. Hey, Officer Uishi. Since we made up just now. Heh. I got a traffic ticket yesterday, and I was so mad that I ripped it in half. Do you think you could do something about that? Just go to the nearest police station for that. Maybe I can give you a priority spot in the waiting line. Foo foo foo. What are friends even for, huh? Ha 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 ha. Their laughter echoed under the blue sky. What a nice moment. Very pleasant. Thank you for waiting, Nomura-san. No, sorry. At the moment, I'm talking to a woman over the phone. So, how's everything going? Going well. Festival's tomorrow. I see. That's good. Hehehe. First Lieutenant Tomitake will get into an accident tomorrow night. H173, the medicine which was supposed to be destroyed, will be administered to him, and no matter what happens, it will be a very pitiful end. Hehehe. What an interesting opening. We've already finished our forgery of the proceedings. It'll show that Lieutenant Colonel Irie was trying to sell your research to a foreign country so they can continue it. And Tomitake's murder is part of that. Yes, that will be the first step for the board of directors to become suspicious of the Irie Institute. We're taking care of all that, so don't worry. Also, regarding that, what should we do if it happens? If what happens? What if First Lieutenant Tomitake agrees to join us? He isn't included in the takeover operation, is he? Well, no, because he's an auditor for the board. If he becomes our ally, that might be beneficial to us. According to our analysis, even if he changes his allegiance, there won't be much for us to gain. Why add another unnecessary worry to the operation? You're right. Sorry about that. Thought we might be able to use him for something, which is why I suggested it. We'll go with the original plan then. I think that would be better. I'll get in touch with you again. Goodbye. For a while I kept holding the telephone receiver, lost in thought. Then I put it down and dialed a number that I had become very familiar with. Hello? Economy Hotel, Okonomiya. How may I assist you? Hello. Could you connect me to room 406, the one belonging to Tomitake? Please tell him Takano is calling. Wait, Takano is Nomura? That's so weird, though. I mean, it makes sense because of hee-hees, but I thought... Yeah, I don't know. Sure, I'll connect you. One moment, please. The telephone operator put me on hold, leaving behind only electronic music. I waited for about a minute, and the operator came back on again. I'm sorry. The guest in room 406 is not in his room right now. Would you like to leave a message? That's okay. I already left a few of them. Do you know when he left the hotel? Do you know when he'll be back? Oh, I'm sorry. Can't answer that. I see. I'll call again. I put down the phone before the operator finished speaking. This is the third time I've tried calling him. I left a message telling him to call me back, but he hasn't. Why? Is he out taking photographs by himself? Or is he waiting for me behind the shrine where we usually meet? Who would think I would actually come all the way here, expecting him to be waiting for me? I'm even surprised myself. People are in the middle of setting up tomorrow's festival. Tents are being put up for food stalls and preparations for various events are taking place. It's almost too noisy for me, what with people shouting as they work, plus the noise from the batteries for the stalls. Soon, I reached the back of the shrine before realizing it. This is probably the best view in the whole village. This is where Jiro-san and I usually meet. Just maybe, he's waiting for me here. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. God will never grant my wishes. He only has a bit of fun by testing me. I look down at the village below, letting the breeze blow through my hair. He usually follows me around while he stays in Hinamizawa. He persistently asks if I want to go out to eat, go for a walk, or take some photographs with him. But he hasn't done any of that this visit. His behavior towards me has changed. Maybe it's because he heard about the horrible impression I left with the new board of directors. Maybe he thinks I'm a mad scientist because of that incident. I can feel that he's gradually losing interest in me. But I had my own complaints too. When I don't want him around, he's so persistent. But when I need him to listen to me, I can't get a hold of him. But if I did get through to him, what would I even talk about? What could I talk to him about? If I have to talk to someone about the plan to assassinate him? Why should he even answer my call? I'm simply running wildly. When I reach the point of no return, I want to be forgiven. And I want him to do that for me. Just because he always does whatever I want him to do. He shows up whenever I need him. Who would forgive someone like me? Someone who has nowhere to go but hell. Would he forgive me? Out of sympathy? No way. Well, he'll be surprised. He'll do his job and arrest me. I'm a member of the SDF after all, so what I'm doing is committing treason. Huh. Been thinking about him a lot for the past few days. And just now I realized something. He's not attractive at all as a man. What? He has no sense of humor or good taste. Oh, okay. He has nothing. Absolutely nothing. Well, he has a belly. But he's got cum gutters. But there's nothing appealing about him. He doesn't care about my schedule. He's persistent. When I treat him nicely, because I'm in a good mood, he becomes even more persistent. There really is absolutely nothing good about him. Despite his age, he tells me things like how the last time he held a woman's hand was when he did folk dancing at some summer camp. I had today's Sunday, I forgot about that. Furthermore, he says those things to make me laugh. He's hopeless. But more than anything, I can't stand when he completely ignores my feelings. I want to be alone sometimes. I don't want to do anything sometimes. Yet he drags me out, completely ignoring how I feel. That's why, even when I'm exhausted or I don't feel like doing anything, I end up going with him, which makes me laugh. I always thought that just wore me out, yet I want him to drag me around. Probably never feel this way again, and yet he's not here. Do I really believe I don't want to spend time with him? Maybe I've just grown used to his abundant affection. When he took me out on a day I didn't want to do anything, I was in a bad mood at first, but after a while, I started to feel better and found myself having a lot of fun. If he was with me now, would he take me out to photograph birds like always? Would he happily explain it all with his know-how, even though I didn't ask? That'd be very boring and troublesome, but that's what I honestly want right now. Do I see my grandpa in him? I love my grandpa. He gave me a purpose to live. I needed him. I loved Uncle Koizumi. He helped me with my dream. I needed him. After both of them died, maybe I just sought their aspects in him. Am I starving for a protector? Maybe I'm so traumatized by my parents' accident that I need to have someone nearby to watch over me all the time. Maybe I'm still mature. My inner child is throwing a fit because she can't put together a toy, saying that if it's going to be broken anyway, she's going to break it herself. Won't be just my problem. It'll bring about huge, irreversible tragedy. That's the only way to prove the truth of my grandfather's work. That belief allowed me to prepare up to this point. Just a few days, the top members of the government will be scrutinizing my grandfather's article. And terrified by the worst-case scenario he predicted, they'll regret canceling our research and neglecting countermeasures as they pass their final resolution. That's when my grandfather's article will become truth. His great work uplifted, and his name carved into the pages of history. And then he will become a god. Eternal existence. And I will reveal the god worshipped as Orisho-sama to be the Hinamza syndrome, casting him down to earth. I'm going to complete the 5th curse of Orisho-sama with Jiro-san's death, as well as my own. I'll become the one who curses, not the one who is cursed. I'll be in the position to test, instead of being tested. I will ascend to godhood. I'm going to make the curse a reality. I'm going to kick the god of this place off her throne. And then, grandfather and I will be together forever. Gods don't get tested. Fate doesn't test gods. No grief will separate us. I will be with my grandpa forever. After that, we're going to work on our research together in that study, filled with the smell formula. A scene from happier days. Grandpa is at his desk, writing down something. I'm in a good mood, lying on my stomach in the carpet right behind him, while flapping my legs and humming a tune. I help him with his research by organizing his books as if I were playing with blocks. To return to those times is my only wish. Of course, if I could go back that far, I'd want my parents to be alive too. If I could play with my grandpa's books, while listening to my mother cooking in the kitchen, my father flipping through his newspaper, that would complete my happy world. It would be my ideal childhood. But that world doesn't have a door to the outside world. So I can't go over to my friend's house. Because if I did go to my friend's house, there wouldn't be anybody there when I returned. Nobody. Because they'd all have died in a train accident. So I don't want an outside world. I want to stay in my house with my parents and my grandfather. I'm a doctor, after all. I can analyze myself. I know that what I'm wishing for is proof of my immaturity. But if I know that much, then why do I still long for a parental figure in Jiro-san? Even as I plan an operation which includes his death, I'm still trying to hang on to him. If I'm gonna betray people so I can become a god, then I should remain a villain until my final moments. But if I'd rather be a lonely little girl, then I should remain modest and humble until my final moments. Either way, if it is my way of life, nobody can criticize me for it. Because if I believe it is right, then all I can do is go on without listening to such criticism. But I still can't decide. So I want somebody to criticize me. Nobody has ever criticized my way of life. That's why I want to hear someone do it. I want someone to tell me my way of life is wrong. I want Jiro-san to tell me I've done such a stupid thing, and I want him to slap me. Such masochistic desires speak a great deal as to how I'm rejecting my present self. Am I really still longing for a parent? Too old to call myself immature. Even if I do, nobody else will. No matter how immature I am inside, people will treat me as a grown person. They will say I possess an adult's responsibility and proper judgment, that they brought me this far already. Then I'll be judged before the devil. Will I still plead not to judge my immature self as a grown-up? Am I gonna act that pathetically, even in front of the devil? I'm already going to hell, yet I can't completely become a devil. I hate the idea of hell, yet I refuse to try and repent. My mind can only float in a lake of blood, drifting as I drown. If only Jiro-san was here. My mind would clear up as I played along with his insensitive chatter. Why isn't he around when I need him the most? This is the last chance I'll have to spend time with him. I hate how immature I am, becoming so insecure just because he isn't around. I found myself before the offertory box. Came here when the Ide Clinic's construction had ended and the research at the Ide Institute was about to begin. I remember how bravely I challenged the god of this place. I was full of hope and ambition. After going through many hardships, I finally came this far. I even vowed I would become a god. I did so in front of the god of this place. I can vaguely recall my grandfather telling me a story similar to that. That's right. This is the story of the Tower of Babel. When there was only one language in this world, all people lived in one place with one will. In display of their authority, they started to build a tower that would reach heaven. God got angry because these people had forgotten how to show respect to him. He believed all of man gathered to commit such an affront because they all shared one language and one will. So their communion was shattered. People were thrown into disorder. They were given many different languages so they wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. And as they couldn't communicate with each other, many left, and the tower which challenged heaven fell to ruin. Something like that, anyway. I'm not sure what the lesson is, but this is what my grandfather explained to me. Building a tower that reaches up to heaven is the greatest challenge for humans, but it is also a challenge to God. To challenge God was truly sinful, but as humans, we couldn't help but test that untrodden peak. It's not easy to build a tower that's high enough to reach heaven. While they're building the tower, the people will fall into disharmony and lose the mutual understanding they once started with. Their united wills thrown into disarray. This applies not just to a group of people, but can be said about one person as well. No matter how solid their will, the The closer they come to heaven, the more limits God imposes on man. So even iron wills are sure to waver at some point. It is just too arrogant for humans to think that they can always carry out their original intentions. That must have been what my grandfather was thinking deep down. Sure, he lost hope many times since nobody ever recognized the value of his research. Yet he believed in himself, and he believed that someday his work would be appreciated. Maybe that was his wish, rather than reaching heaven. Grandfather realized he wouldn't be able to complete his research, and maybe he was trying to find where he could compromise. Humans can't build a tower that reaches heaven, but the story of the Tower of Babel is still around. It didn't reach heaven, but we still tell the story of the tower that challenged God. According to the story, the tower was left behind with nobody to work on it. The incomplete tower stayed in that place for a long time, never reaching its goal. But if someone were to see it, they would realize how great it was that someone accepted that challenge and praised their name. I took over the tower from my grandfather and tried to make it reach heaven, but I ended up succumbing to the same fate. If it's going to be destroyed anyway, I'll try to destroy it myself. What am I doing? Anyway, if I hadn't tried to continue grandfather's research, his work on Hinamizawa syndrome would have remained forever. Even if it was an empty tower that nobody ever visited, if somebody did come by, they would praise whoever attempted that challenge. They would have praised my grandfather. But I took over his work and built the tower even closer to heaven, which made God angry, and the tower is now going to be destroyed. The tower will become a pile of rubble. When the EDA Institute is shut down, all of its records will be destroyed. My grandfather's wish for his work to be appreciated by someone will never be granted. I tried to make my grandfather an eternal existence. Yet I ended up making that an impossibility. How can I call myself Mio Takano? Instead of inheriting the 1, 2, 3 from my grandfather and continuing to count to 3, 4, I reduced it all to 0. She's 0. If it wasn't for me, my grandfather's work would have remained an empty tower. Cipher. It would have stayed in this world forever. But I ruined it. I did that. I can feel myself sweating. Sweat reminds me that I've done something inexorable. When I did make a mistake, where did I go wrong? It wasn't when I came here. It was before that. I started to walk down the wrong path long before that. If I put myself in my grandfather's spot, I know. My grandfather was working on a great challenge. He built a mighty tower. I was supposed to continue to stand there and wait for someone to appreciate it. Grandfather definitely said he wanted his work to be valued by someone, even after his death. But I misunderstood. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn. I misinterpreted grandfather's wish, and I ruined it. I ruined everything. I tried to make him an external existence, yet I destroyed him. Grandfather built an eternal tower, yet I raised it. Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? It's obvious. My grandfather counted to 3, and with that, it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed. And now, all of it is ruined. I shouldn't have tried to count to 4. I shouldn't have done anything. Besides, grandfather didn't even ask me to continue his research. A little girl shouldn't play in this dark study. Go outside and play with your friends. I remember my grandfather telling me things like that, but I refused, and I stayed in the study so I could help him. And eventually, he stopped telling me to play outside, just enjoyed having my company while he worked. But when we first met, he used to say things like that. Then what? Living with Grandpa was the first mistake I made? Then what? When I escaped the orphanage, I shouldn't have called Grandpa? Shouldn't have found a 10-yen coin? Shouldn't have asked Grandpa to help me? Now I remember. I know where I belong. Bang, 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 bang. What? A noise of something metal striking something else is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. I'm not allowed to fall asleep. I wasn't asleep, I just had my eyes closed, that's all. Sorry. Damn you! I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. Come on, damn it. Bang. Don't kick. I'm afraid of the metal sound. Please don't kick it. I'm not being kicked. But the noise is kicking me. So please don't kick. Please don't kick the metal fence, please. My body's getting cracked. All the dirty, itchy, and painful things soak into those cracks, and the filth and prickling feel horrible. It's soaking into my chest, gathering together. I desperately try to resist so that it won't touch my heart. But the dirtiness and itching draw together more and more. My whole chest is soaked, and soon enough my face will be swallowed. Even drowning in this dirtiness and itching, I try desperately to hold my breath, so that at least my heart won't be soaked with it. Damn it. Bang. Is this the orphanage? I can't hold my breath any longer. I drown in an ocean of muck. And yet, as I'm taking on the muck, my heart desperately struggles not to be tainted by it, to rise above it until my heart too sinks into the sea of grime. Only creatures that have lived on land will grasp and suffer the pain of drowning as they long to return to dry land. Creatures that have always lived in the ocean never drown. Grandpa won't come help me. That is the best thing for me and him both. I am... See? When I stop struggling, there's no more noise. I don't have to hear that scary metal noise. Is it a roar or a yell? I need to borrow strength to scream in order to come back to the present world. My body is all sweaty. Feels dirty, itchy, and painful. It reminds me of that day. I can feel welts coming on as the sweat crawls down my skin. No, it's just a delusion. It can't be itchy. Because all of that is long over. I take a bath every day. I scrub my body until it turns raw and red. So not even the slightest drop of that horrible filth could possibly remain. Can't help it. I remember the filth. I can only get rid of it by scratching my arm so hard it leaves marks. Can't get rid of the itching. Can't get rid of the filth. Of course I can't. I'm a filthy existence. Grandpa should never have saved someone like me. Meeting me made him unhappy. I shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have been born. Should have stayed inside that metal fence and spent my whole life there. Need to go back inside it. Should have never left. That place is where I belong. Corner me with that horrible metal noise. Crush me with that filth, itchiness, and pain. And then kill me. So that I'll never meet Grandpa. So yeah, I guess it's the orphanage. Is that your wish? Yes. Much like those left behind at the top of Babel's crumbling tower. Or Icarus, unable to reach heaven only to fall. That is my final wish. Bring me back inside that metal fence. Give me back the fate that's suitable for my filthy existence. The wish of a liar will never come true. But I'm not a liar. You have spoken your true wish once, yet you have yet to realize that's your greatest wish. I cannot grant that wish just yet. Are you saying that's the punishment we sinful humans face for challenging God? You should already know. The strength of your desire is what creates the future. You lack that strength. Good. Are you saying I haven't tainted myself enough? Will even the gates of hell remain shut for someone not fully committed like me? What's going on? Pika-chan, Sudoku-chan, how are you feeling? It's Irie. As Akasaka-san warned me, I have to be careful. Akasaka-san opened the door silently. How are you doing? It's bustling outside, huh? Yeah, everyone is busy getting ready for tomorrow's festival. Brought some shaved ice for you, courtesy of the refreshment stand committee. Let's have some. Thank you for that. I'll have some. Akasaka-san is wearing a t-shirt, but he's still drenched in sweat. All the windows have been shut, and he can't even open the curtains, so it's very hot inside. But even accounting for that, he's still sweating like mad. Look at how sweaty you are. Sure is hot in here. No, I was exercising a little. Of course, I tried to keep very quiet. Just staying prepared for anything, that's all. A little exercise helps to refresh people. I'm sure you've been under a lot of stress for the last few days. You must be exhausted mentally, too. No, I'm used to this kind of thing. But I really appreciate you bringing him some stuff. Akasaka-san smiled like a happy child as he ate the strawberry-flavored shaved ice. So, has there been anything yet? Have you heard from Tomitaka-san? No, nothing yet. But Takano-san was saying she can't get a hold of him. That's right, he changed his hotel, huh? You think she's noticed something? No, I don't think she has. Told her he's probably just going around taking pictures. But it's only a matter of time before she becomes suspicious. There'll be a strong wind soon, one way or another. Dr. Ide, please be very careful. Yeah, of course. Oh, by the way, I just saw Oishi-san, and he told me to tell you something. I explained the 48-hour operation to Akasaka-san. Akasaka-san seemed impressed with the notion, especially because I told him it came from the girls. That's a fantastic idea. That'll shake up our enemy quite a bit. It'll give Tomitaka-san a big opportunity to find out something too. So when is the operation going to take place? That'll be decided when they meet with Oishi-san tonight. But since we don't have much time, it might be as early as tomorrow morning. I see. It's pretty stressful just waiting for a battle to begin. If there's something we can do, might as well just do it. Time in Hiyamazawa is limited too, so how much longer can you stay? I told Yuki that I should be home by midnight on Sunday, but if the situation changes, I might have to stay here longer. She's a policeman's wife. She'll understand. Can't even call her from here, huh? Sorry to put you in this situation. Don't worry. It's not like we're newlyweds. She won't divorce me just for not calling her every night. Although he says that, it's easy to tell that Akasaka-san wants to hear the sound of her voice. So have there been any changes on your end? If there's anything you need, I'll bring it. I really don't need anything yet. Any changes? Well, it's hard to say. There are just too many people going in and out for the festival. If there's someone suspicious among them, I can't tell. You should assume our enemies are hidden among them, so we should be on our guard. That sounds about right. By the way, the mountain dogs are starting to move, just as you said. When I asked Okunogi about their plans, he said he's raising the security level for the day surrounding the festival to take into account the possibility that some criminal might use the 5th year of the curse to target Rika-chan. That matches the situation right now. Almost looks like all the preparations, officially and unofficially, are going smoothly for tomorrow's festival. So you're saying tomorrow it's going to be a festival in more ways than one, then? If the 48-hour operation gets underway tomorrow morning, it'll be quite the turbulent day. Yes, everything will change, starting tomorrow. June 19th, 1983. A tempestuous day that divides a peaceful world from a tragic one. The fate of the world will change on that day. I finished my secret meeting with Akasaka-san and left while calling up to the second floor window, pretending to address the girls. When some villagers saw me do that, they asked how they were doing. They asked me about both girls, which made me very happy. What Orio-san said yesterday has already spread among the villagers. In other words, the curse of Orosho-sama may have already lifted, even before tomorrow's festival. If nothing happens tomorrow, and this village is finally free from the curse and the ghosts of the damned conflict. As we prepare for the upcoming battle, I realize the extent of the responsibility we've taken on. But at the same time, that gives me strength. After greeting officials under the main tent, I ran to Takano-san as I headed back to the clinic. It's unusual for her to be here alone. Tomizaki-san was with her. I can understand, but she'd never come here by herself. For a moment I thought maybe she suspected a connection between me and Akasaka-san, but it doesn't seem that way. I'm relieved. This is unusual. What are you doing here? Nothing really. Just taking a walk. See, it's a nice day today. But it's a perfect day for taking a walk. I wonder if Jio-san is taking a walk too. Those words had a strange nuance to them. Takano-san normally only spends time with Tomizaki-san out of politeness. At least, that's how she'd been acting. So when I heard her say that, I was a little surprised. Maybe so. He's from Tokyo. Sure he's enjoying the fresh air and the beauty of Hinamizawa. Director, do you have any idea where Jiro-san went? No, I don't. He didn't come to the meeting last night. It was a good thing someone else was there to take his place, but he should have been there. He's neglecting his job, don't you think? This is going in the wrong direction. Have to change the subject. Well, I'm sure he needed a little break. Bet he wanted to be alone. Just like you. Yeah, I could see that. I think that went well. She didn't ask about Tomizaki-san after that. When I looked around, I could imagine how lavish the festival is going to be tomorrow. Tanagashi is the biggest festival of the year around here. It's grown in scale ever since the dam conflict ended, and this year the village festival is hitting a peak. Sure, villagers of all ages will enjoy themselves tomorrow. Takano-san and I overlooked the heartwarming scene. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it will be fun. The conversation was very ironic. Both meant something different as we spoke. Can hardly wait for the festival to start. Yeah, fun festival is about to begin. I noticed an indescribably bitter smile on her face. Hope it'll be a nice day tomorrow. After all these preparations, it'll be a shame if it rains. Hee. They worked so hard to prepare for this grand festival. Little rain won't stop them. Yeah, I guess. There'll be a festival, no matter the weather, huh? Yes. It'll be a grand festival. Sure of it. Uishi-san had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green light. Good job. Bet you had some difficulties. Nah, not really. They actually agreed pretty easily. Boy, how nice it is to be young. I was the only one who struggled to make a decision. Pitiful, huh? Can't turn back anymore. I'll give it everything I have. Uishi-san was always a man with great presence. Seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. This will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going on the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge the opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match can be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush. See, Rika? Doesn't it feel reassuring to have this many people on your side? I don't intend on refuting you anymore. I was almost ready to give up just a few days ago, but now I can't believe how much the situation has evolved. It just might be possible to change our fate after all. Rika, that's not good enough. You're right. I shouldn't say we might change our fate. We will change it. We will win. We will defeat fate. In any case, then the timing of our trap is extremely important. What do you mean, timing? We should act immediately. Tonight. It will have been 48 hours since Rika-chan disappeared. The longer we wait, the better position the enemy will be in, so we should act as soon as possible. That's true. If we're too careful, that will give them more time. Our defense ought to be cautious, but our offense ought to be bold. It's very reassuring to have both your seals of approval. So what about it, everyone? No objections. I've steeled my resolve. I'm ready anytime. Is it time yet? What do you think, Satoko? We should go with haste, of course, but right now may be a little too hasty. If we are to surprise them, I think we should do it more carefully. The surprise attack should take place at night. Is there any better timing than now? Calm down. You're both right. Surprise attacks usually do happen at night. But look at us now. We're still up, even though it's that dark outside, right? Night attacks were more effective when there was no electricity. Nowadays, surprise attacks don't always have to take place in the middle of the night. There's even a better time than that. Is there really a better time for a surprise attack? LOL. I understand. The day breaks sortie, right? Oh. You know some interesting terms, don't you? It's true that the worst time to call someone is not in the middle of the night, but early in the morning. People can't even think straight when they're half asleep. A surprise attack at dawn. Yeah, that's a great time to do it. Yeah. I think that'll be the most effective. Knowing how Takano-san is, it's more than likely that she'll do something to make it look like the 5th year's curse. And she'll try it tomorrow night. It's normal to try to get plenty of sleep the night before. Oh ho ho ho. I now know the perfect time to spring my traps. Surprise attack at dawn. Man, that sounds badass. I've always wanted to do something like that. Fire it up! You're just like my men, Meibara-san. Hey, does that mean I'm the only man involved who hasn't psyched? My, oh my. Alright, ready then. The 48-hour operation commences tomorrow at dawn. The question is how they will react. We'll be confusing them, and once we see their response, we'll attack. This is a raid! Okay, as the leader of this club, I now declare that the 48-hour operation is now in effect. We'll carry out our tasks at 4 AM tomorrow morning. It'll get busy all of a sudden. All members should be ready for an immediate response. Prepare yourselves, physically and mentally. And don't forget, the fate of Hinamizawa rides on this battle. The enemy's conspiracy could end up destroying this village. Huh? We'll never let that happen. Well, we'll see how the enemy will react. Will they become demons or serpents? Neat. Maybe they'll become kittens. Ho 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 ho! How cute of them. I don't think so. Something huge will happen for sure. This is like a little earthquake. One that's a forewarning of a huge tsunami. You're right. I feel that little earthquake too. But we'll create that huge tsunami, and either the village or the enemy will be swallowed by it. We'll ride that huge wave for as long as we can. This 48-hour operation will be a shock to the enemy. They'll panic, their pace will be off, and they're guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will and preparing ourselves to act gives us the full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Hinamizawa. This game, this festival, will start with our siege. Come on, we're ready. We're ready for June 19th, 1983. Hey Rika, have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there were always this many emotions in this world. There were always countless numbers of them gathered on this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it, because we always looked at the world subjectively. There are so many people in this world, and each of them has very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. With this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragment will we be granted? Who will win, Takano or us? The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th of 1983. But let's open it tomorrow. The door to the 19th. Okay. Is that all the... Is that the balloon flowers? What is that? I didn't get a good look on that. It's balloons? I guess for preparations. Okay. Door to the 19th. Unfortunate. But tomorrow, the finale. It's gonna happen. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Don't know if we have anyone to raid. We'll see. Who's live? We might have someone. Actually, let's check over here first. Okay, no one there. Oh wait, someone over here. Okay. Man, I'm hyped, but I mean, we gotta save this for tomorrow, unfortunately. Yeah, let's go raid Pixie, who's currently playing Crash Bandicoot: The Insane Trilogy. And then, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with a finale to Higurashi. Then I get to watch the anime. Oh boy! So, it'll be good. Be a good time. Yeah, here's the raid message. And thanks for hanging out. Unfortunate that we had whatchamacallit, the power outage. Not power outage, they just turned off the power because they were doing something, but it's fine. Anyways, Higurashi finale tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.